So I have this special power where I can tweet something completely harmless and obvious, and for some reason it provokes a bunch of people to start yelling at me. And I recently did that to the most extreme degree ever following the Switch 2 announcement and all the stupid nonsense surrounding it, like the $80/$90 games, the $450 price to entry, the paid upgrades for games from the Switch 1 that should not have been as expensive as they were in the first place with the performance that they had. And apparently, even though the Switch 2 is totally overpriced, the games cost way too much, the upgrades cost anything at all, and some of the games aren't even on the cartridges they're selling to you. And also, as I said in my previous video, Nintendo legitimately may have just kicked off the crash of the AAA industry with this. Apparently, there are still tons of people out there who think you're not allowed to criticize it at all for any reason. So in this video, we're going to look at some of the dumbest Nintendo fanboy responses I've gotten to my tweets over the last 30-ish hours, and if you're someone who thinks the Switch 2 is just totally awesome and peachy, I invite you to try and defend it in the comments of this video, because God knows your ilk couldn't do it in their tweets. So we'll look at some responses I got to this tweet, and to this tweet, and to this one, which is my first official viral tweet, apparently. After all the stupid things I've posted over the years, this is the first one that's actually gone viral. It's literally just a picture of a Steam Deck, and not surprisingly, this is where people got the angriest at me. So let's just see what people have to say. Kylo Ren Xbot Annihilator says, upgrades are free if you're a Switch Online subscriber. So they're not free. They're free if you're subscribed, which costs money. Is this making sense to you yet? Swolku says the PS3 at launch $500 in 2006. Yeah, and we all remember how that went. We all remember how amazingly priced that was. We all remember how much people loved it when that happened. Like, how is this an argument? Hey, listen, the shitty price point today is justified because there was a shitty price point 20 years ago. Oh, cool. That makes me understand. Great. You don't even have to defend your points because you pointed out that someone else had a shitty price point 20 years ago. Get the fuck off my screen. This isn't an argument. Tier says because it's a premium option. It's like the iPhone versus the iPhone Pro. The Switch 1 ecosystem is very much still alive and will live on for a while. This is for people who can afford to step into the next generation of Nintendo at the moment. I love when people do this. It's the premium option, but the non-premium option runs games like ass and still charges you out the ass for them. And it's going to be phased out in favor of the new generation. It's not an iPhone versus iPhone Pro. It's a new console. It's a new generation. They are absolutely going to be phasing out the previous generation. And they haven't fixed the problems with the previous generation because why would they? The new generation's coming out. This isn't a optional upgrade for people who just, they like the Switch, but they want the Switch Pro. It's not a Switch Pro, it's the Switch 2. This is replacing the Switch. And that's why the overpricedness of everything is so egregious. If you want to keep up with Nintendo in the next generation, you have to start paying even more for everything. The fact that you're trying to write this off as an optional upgrade, it just proves you have no argument. Hey, Nintendo's way upcharging for everything. Hey, Nintendo's doing a whole bunch of shitty stuff. Well, you don't have to buy it. I know I don't have to buy it. I don't have to do anything. This isn't an argument. Gary M says, but I can't play Mario Kart, referring to the Steam Deck, even though you absolutely can play Mario Kart on the Steam Deck. Ironically, you can play more Mario Kart games on the Steam Deck than on the actual Switch, because we have emulators on the Steam Deck. I guess we'll just move on then. Xenix says, oh, and the low-spec PS5 Pro at $700, $800 gets a pass. That is serious Sony bias right there, XD. I've never actually been accused of having Sony bias. My boy, do you know who I am? But I'm loving the defenses so far. I'm loving the defenses of the Switch 2 so far. So far, the only actual defenses that the Nintendo guys seem to have are, you don't have to buy it, which isn't a defense, and, oh yeah, well, this other thing is overpriced, which also isn't a defense. Fantastic stuff going on here. Let's keep going. Cloudy says, have you seen the mid-range GPU prices? $750 to $1,200. High-end is $2K just for the GPU. That's not true at all. People need a come-to-Jesus moment on what their dollar can buy these days. $30 is just one bucket of chicken these days. Okay, well, I just Googled for 20 seconds, and I found a 3070 for $379 refurbished. You could absolutely get one used, like, at an actual, like, person-to-person market for way less than that. In before marriage, 3070 is not a high-end GPU. Well, aside from the fact that high-end is completely subjective these days, the point I'm making here is that if you think the Switch 2 is fairly priced at $450 with the justification being something GPU prices, something price of hardware, then tell me why I can get significantly better performance for significantly less money. That's the point I'm making here. If the price of the Switch 2 is justified simply because high-end PC hardware is expensive, then tell me why this PC hardware that absolutely smokes the Switch 2 is so much cheaper. Because the 3070, I can tell you from experience, I have owned the 3070, this will smoke what the Switch 2 is putting out. And it is obtainable for much less money than the Switch 2. So explain to me, if the price point is justified because of the hardware capabilities, I want you to explain this to me. You're not going to explain this to me because you just want to point at $1,000 GPUs and be like, it's not that expensive, therefore it's fine. You want to make the hardware price argument, but not actually think about the hardware price argument. And then after making the PC hardware price argument, you somehow don't think you're going to be corrected by an actual PC gamer, which is me. Why do you people do this? Why do console guys keep doing this? Stop bringing up PC hardware if you don't know anything about it. Faith says, just unfortunate that only 26% of the Steam library is fully compatible with the Steam Deck. Oh man, such a shame that only 26% of the Steam library is compatible. I mean, never mind the fact that just because it's not Steam Deck verified, that doesn't mean that it doesn't run on the Steam Deck. I've been playing the shit out of Dark Souls 2 on my Steam Deck, and that's not actually verified. At least not vanilla Dark Souls 2. It has the yellow thing. It doesn't have the green check mark, and I haven't had a single problem with it. But okay, let's just take this. Only 26% of the Steam library is fully compatible with the Steam Deck. Well, how many games are in the Steam library? It's that many, and 26% of that number is this many games. Yeah, I think we're fine. I really think we're fine. Especially since not a single one of those games is going to be $80. Dan117 says, no Nintendo games on this. Actually, all the Nintendo games are on that. But good try. Jenky says, Steam Deck is a great value for a specific type of gamer. One that's okay with tinkering and following tutorials to get certain things done on their console. Also must be okay with games not being optimized and having to do that themselves. Several things wrong here. I've literally never had to look up a tutorial to do anything on my Steam Deck. You don't have, yeah, you need to look up a tutorial to do things on the Steam Deck that aren't in the Steam Deck's menu. If you just want to pick up the Steam Deck and just use it as it is on its face, just, clicking through the menus, downloading the games, running the games, you don't have to look up a tutorial for any of that. You only need to look up tutorials if you're doing something outside of the, native Steam store page, which is completely optional. So thanks for letting us know that you need to do an optional thing in order to access an optional thing. But I also find it ironic that you're saying it's a negative that, games on the Steam Deck, if they're not optimized, you have to optimize them yourself. What do you do if a game's not optimized on the Switch? Because I think you just kind of eat shit and deal with it. In before there's no unoptimized games on the Switch, don't even make me chuckle right now. Everyone's getting hyped for Hyrule Warriors 3. Didn't the last Hyrule Warriors run at 12 frames per second? I really don't want to hear about optimization right now. At least I can actually do something about it on my platform. Eric says, go build something. And then I clicked on Eric's profile, and it looks like he's just run by an AI. So opinion discarded. Country Logic says the point of a Switch is the games, proprietary games that you can only play on the Switch unless you steal them. My moral compass won't let me do that. So your moral compass won't let you play games that you don't pay for, but your moral compass has nothing to say about $80 or $90 games? It's a rather specific moral compass you have there. Sounds like a skill issue to me. Crazy idea if you really want to take the morality argument. If a corporation is blatantly taking advantage of you and disrespecting you as a consumer, I would think the moral thing to do would be to not encourage that behavior, because then that behavior will presumably not be repeated for other people. But, your moral compass is just better than mine because I don't I don't pay out the ass for Nintendo games. Question mark. Tristan says, yeah, but you can't play as a cow driving a motorcycle on a power line. You know, that's the first legitimate counter I've heard all day. No notes. You got me there. Timothy Erickson says, does it do 4K 120 FPS? Do you actually think the Switch 2 is doing 4K 120? There's no way you actually think that's happening. One more from Tripster. Oh boy. Let's see what great takes Tripster has. Tripster says, I'll do you one better. And it's a picture of a ROG Ally and a Steam Deck sale. Tripster, are we on the same side of something? Tripster, are we publicly on the same side of something? What is happening right now? Oh boy, I have a feeling Switch 2 Salt is going to be like an ongoing mine of mine. Because it seems like the more we hear about the Switch 2, the less appealing it gets to people. And it seems like the less appealing it gets to people, the more the Nintendo neckbeards feel like they have to come out and defend it with their big guns blazing. Except when I say big guns, what I mean is just like Mario hats on little like toothpick arms. Like, you know that coat stand that Harmon Smith has behind him in some of his videos with the Mario hat on it? That's unironically what I think a lot of you people look like when you're defending Nintendo this hard. Just like 3 sticks and then a Nintendo hat somewhere on one of the sticks. Which, speaking of Harmon Smith, I haven't even looked at his content since before the Switch 2 stream, but looking at his video titles, I might need to put the police hat on, cause things are getting a little bad over there. So if you want to keep trying to defend the Switch 2, you know, flippin' be my guest. Because, I mean, I'm just gonna keep monetizing you. But, you know, whatever suits, whatever floats your wiener. Let's, I'm gonna do the Doofus Club shoutouts now. Because good lord. Okay. Nick, Moltheme, Binary Deviant, Voxalt, Cloaked Onyx, Ed Omega, JJ Dusty, Hail Denuvo, Pub, Cod Stop It, Codman4372WX, the Gamer 127YT, Joe, have you cried Crab Champions, Father Joe, when are you joining the voice chat? Shock My Nipples, Gold Pyrac, Zombie Fan, Alderoth 01, I shit on my floor the whole time you were gone, Joe, Ultimate Jack, Gnigsy, Burlast 1314, Snake Eyes 327, Devastator 2000, Edge Knight 1789, Raptor 1, it's Gamer Word, not Gamer World, get it right, Joey, Sad Freighter, MK2396E, The Crocodile in the Moat, got me, Joe, Help, Henthai, Ex Machina Gamma, Elite Wolf, Fire Hazard 105, Epion 504, if you read as you gay, Klepto Penguin, Banshee, Partial Mean AGWXSS, Doom Kaiju, Rast the Wolf, Evan Co, OK Toodles, Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Really Zerd, Gaming with Dead People, Bender Fondue, All Games Video, Big Japanese name that I can't read, Max Killer V2 Gaming, Biscuit 111, PS5 has Infinite Bacon, Horizon Forbidden West Remastered, Pope Raphael the Rat King, Jessica Shepard, Wiki Spiral, Wiki Dabby, Muskie, Switch 2 prices can suck my PC prices, Nintendo do is the worst. I don't think I read that correctly. Karumi the Steel Angel, Hoodoo You, Voodoo Woo, Hoodoofy Woofy, Smash Jump, Sergeant Jason Bond, Baron Von Vaderholm, say, Cyrus failed the homework, admonish me, Joe, forgot to change names, now I can't afford to fix it, True Texican 940, Sense Nakage, Yingbo, Anemone, Isthmus, United Establishmentarianism, Hinoka's #1 Saudi fan, Creed Warrior 23, Maxachev, Herman's Nintendo Defense Reaction vid when, Chap, Totally Insane, Vendetta Audrey, Black Cobra, Night of Cypher, Reborn Me with the fan art, ML04, I own 6 copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray with the fan art, Harmon's Hair Grease Supplier, Wolf of Midnight, Sick Rider, Pig Venus, Kev Dog 1992, Steve Wynn Studios, Film Crack in the Beesoms, Ohm Gaming, Tariq Brown, Thomas Spokane, Hero Culture, Thornscape, Maganex, Severin Evans, Mr. Spine 03, it's the Carolina Frick Y, Mix of Pow Pow, Y Double Donnie Weston, Nick Donegan, Gob Gobson, Rogue Winter 919, Bobby Hinder, Grimsy, Sengoku Rants, Hangman for Hire, Eldon the Noble, Frost Crystal, Jimmy Chops, Biogenesis, Ian Action, Bobby Fingers 97, Michael Musical, Mega Key, Krishka, the Scuffy Skull, Ghost, Ho, Ryusagi, the Jojo 6, Vasco, Femtango, Raptor 10, Honest F 94, Blue Hook, Joey forgot to cancel, now I can't pay the ransom, The Return of the King, but he's upside down, Snorlax, and I'm high as a kite as I write this, Jody Brees, Smitty, Worker, Jaegerman Jensen, Max Lero, Massimo, Mac Advertisement, Diego Garcia, Kibikins, I American Idiot, Rebel Blood, 80, Go Taco, Oracle, The Last of Us is boring, Cope, oh no, it's Justin, Randroid, Tony Wayne, Bloodline, Extreme the Wolf 7s, Joey Scoops, my name is Mud, Joe Taco, Joe licked my feet, now he won't call me back. I want to be your condom, so pull me over your head and blow me up. Wanna be Hobo, Jidge, Western, Billet, 3 Centaur, Rob C, I'm Veg, Groovy Banana, Kurt, now it's back to the Scrum Master, Bloodborne 2, 10 years, no port, Boogaloo. We did that one really quick. That was pretty good. Okay. Switch 2 sounds like a big old scammy whammy. Okay, sucks. That sucks. Toodles.